Hi, I'm Linda.
Hello, I'm Dan.
And this is What is Music? And yes, this episode we're talking about sad songs. So, Dan, what is the saddest song you've ever heard?
For me, it'd have to be In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning by Frank Sinatra. It's the first track from the first ever concept album. It's all about a breakup. It's pretty grim. What about you?
I cry listening to a lot of The Smiths, but in particular, There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. General Morrissey is like a tearjerker for me, but that particular song is properly doomed and so romantic as well.
Yeah.
So, since the dawn of time, humans have always loved sad songs. They've accompanied love and loss to the rituals of death and mourning. From ancient Greek funeral songs to Renaissance love ballads to the blues.
Times are harder than ever been before.
Sad songs mark important milestones in our lives and form touchstones for our emotions.
We spoke to sad song expert Sandra Garrido for all the facts.
Why is it that when it comes to music, we actually seem to enjoy feeling sad? People can listen to a piece of sad music and they can make their own story out of it. Sadness is part of the breadth of human experiences. And because music sort of expresses emotions in this really primal, pre-verbal sort of way, it's a way of expressing feelings without having to actually be able to articulate it with words. And so it really touches people quite strongly.
While it's easy to visually spot sadness on someone's face or in a painting or a movie, sadness can be less obvious in music. But there are some common things.
There are universal features that can make a song seem sad. For example, slow tempo. In Western cultures, being in a minor key.
Swinging in the backyard, pull up in your fast car, whistling my name.
And of course, the content of the lyrics.
Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead.
There are also cultural reasons why sad music gets considered sad. In a 2004 survey, Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings was voted the saddest classical work ever. It's been used in many sad movie scenes and in commemoration of tragic events. And perhaps the more it's used, the more it gets associated with sadness.
But why would we enjoy listening to sad music or things that make us sad?
Sadness is an adaptive emotion. It makes us look at our lives and stop and think about the things that we need to change. So our brain is rewarding sadness because of the positive effects it can have on our lives.
Just today, goodbye.
That said, in some cases, it's actually not so helpful to listen to sad songs.
For some people, the music can actually trigger patterns of negative thinking, particularly if that individual has a tendency towards depression, and I mean clinical levels of depression. That can be quite a dangerous thing because rather than helping them to work through their emotions and process them, it can actually be making them get stuck in cycles of negative thinking.
So now we know all the elements of a sad song and why we like them so much.
Let's put them to the test.
All right, Dan, let's get this sad show on the road.
So we've decided to conduct a bit of an experiment on the 1965 James Brown song I Got You, aka I Feel Good.
So basically the idea is that we want to turn it into I Feel Sad.
The song has all the markers of a happy song. Bright, happy lyrics, major chords in the harmony, and an upbeat and funky arrangement with brass instruments and a sassy sax solo.
So to get from I Feel Good to I Feel Sad, we're going to have to change a few elements of the song. Step 1, change the harmonies.
So the most common scales in Western music are the major scale and the minor scale.
Yeah, see, that already sounds a bit off and a bit dark.
So basically we want to replace all the happy major chords with sadder, darker minor chords.
If we did a quick one now, like, can you play Happy Birthday?
Yeah.
Major chords. And And then can you flip that to B minor?
Yeah, I think so.
Creepy. So how does I Feel Good Now sound if you did the minor chords?
Okay, so keeping at the same pace, just changing the chords, would be something like etc. But I think it's about more than just the chords and the harmony.
I got you.
Sad pieces are rarely fast, so we're going to slow the tempo down, change that tone. Like, do you remember when Justin Bieber was slowed down by 800%? Hours later.
It's like Bieber the Whale, I think. It's like whale song.
I picture like fat, sad baby on the edge of a cliff. It's definitely a slightly somber, ominous vibe.
Yeah, but it's epic, right? It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's awestruck. So we've also slowed I Feel Good down by 800%.
Can't you picture it?
Yeah.
David Lynch.
I think it's the new intro to
Babies
Rage,
Inside Out.
actually, right?
Yeah. Step 3, make it quieter. When we're sad, we tend to speak softly. So I guess it makes sense for our sad song to be a little bit more quiet.
Yeah, because even if something is slow and in a minor key, that doesn't necessarily make it sad.
So with I Feel Good, we're going to take out those loud brass elements. We're going to add in some soft string sounds, and then hopefully it'll sound a lot more quiet and a lot less energetic.
All right, let's see what we can do.
Sadness, doom, internal struggles.
So now it's slower, and I think it's definitely starting to feel a lot sadder too.
You're really working it, man.
Yeah.
You're like a little Goldilocks of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Making a little musical porridge of sad. My sweet sad boy.
Yes, I think there's still more that we can do. Step 4, kiss. Keep it simple, saddie. Finally, sad songs are often more simple and have less movement. For example, the Barber Adagio for strings doesn't have a lot going on. You can hear a lot of long notes and simple, stepwise melodies. So for our version of I Feel Sad, we've got to strip it back, make it more minimal. So piano and maybe something else?
Yeah, I was thinking, you know how there's that really energetic sax solo that happens in the original? We should sadify it and turn it into solo violin world.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
And luckily for you, Dan, I've taken all the money out of your wallet and hired these professionals.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh. So, I mean, we had all the elements of turning a happy song into a sad song there, but for me, it didn't really come together until we had an actual human, talented musician in there bringing the emotion out of it.
They kind of nailed it. Before that, it felt like we were in this bubble where it was still contrived and it was still like we were faking it. But when they came in, we stepped into the real world and it was genuine sadness.
Yeah, it's the human connection. I think that's why I enjoy sad, melancholic music much more than jovial, happy tunes.
Yeah. We're just a couple of sad puppies.
Yeah.
You should play us out, Dan.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful touch.
Thank you.
I need you to lighten the mood now, can you?
I'll try.
Reverse all the steps
okay.
and turn a sad song into a happy song.
Take a sad song,
a
make it
super
happy,
sad
yeah,
classic,
for sure.
like Mad World. And can you turn it into Glad World to cheer me up?
All right, let's see.
It's so funny. All of a sudden. It's a party. It's a throwback. He's there. He's in a saloon. There's ladies around him and some cool gentlemen flailing about and dancing because life is good. I'm happy with this. Be happy. What's your favourite sad song? Let us know in the comments below. And check out our other apps.